Hey guys, so today I'm going to be doing a review on the Anycubic Grey resin. This is a resin that both me and Mia really like a lot, and we use it pretty much daily. See, we run an online store, and this stuff works great because it's really reliable, it looks really nice. And yeah, as you can tell, we really like this stuff. None of these are video props. These are all like full bottles of gray resin that we haven't even broken into yet. So the biggest reason we like this resin is actually the color. Even though it's just gray, it kind of seems boring, but we sell all of our models as paint ready, so we prime them first before we ship them out. And our primer's gray, and so was our resin. So what that does is it avoids any color bleed we might have otherwise if we'd use a different color resin. So say we printed in a bright blue color, if I missed a spot, and there's a lot of nook and crannies on these models, so if I missed a spot anywhere on the model, you're gonna know, you're gonna see it, and that's not very nice for the customer to see. So using the gray resin helps avoid that at all, because I guarantee in all the models I've shipped out, and we're nearing like 1,000 of them now, I've missed a spot, and I can't be that accurate 100% of the time, so this actually kind of saves my butt a little bit. So all of these models right here have been printed with the Anycubic Grey resin on the Anycubic Photon. And actually, here, I'll put my slicer settings right here. You can pause the video. Got them? Okay, they're gone. So first we're going to start looking at this little test cube. I found this thing on Thingiverse. I'll put the link to it in the description below. I'm not sure why you'd want it if you're just really into printing test cubes, but there you go. I scaled this one down to 50% for, I don't know why, I just did. But I really like this thing because on the inside you can see all the bridges that connect to each other. And this is really showing how well the resin does at adhering to itself. If it couldn't adhere to itself very well, on the inside you'd start to see some of those bridges, you know, have tiny holes in them, or the edges wouldn't be very defined. They kind of have just these roll-offs, but it might be hard to show on camera, but this actually looks really good. So the next two things I'm going to show you are these two pieces of a chess set that I also found on Thingiverse. I'll put a link to that in the description below as well. The guy did a really good job of making these. They look very nice and modern looking. We have a rook here and a knight here. And I wanted to print these for this video because it shows how smooth this resin can print. Right here on the rook, you can see that the tall posts are super smooth. You can't even tell it's a 3D print. It looks like it could have been a mold. It looks very nice. I like it a lot. And then on the knight, we see the same thing. Those spirals look very smooth, and the only hint that it's a 3D print is on the very top of it. You can see just a few layer lines because it's the top of a sphere, but even those layer lines look really good because this resin does a good job at hiding those. So the next three models we're going to look at are actually Mia's models. So I'll put another link in the description below to her Thingiverse account where you can look at her huge library of models, and these are just a few of my favorites. So first we're going to start with this guy. This is her bat humanoid. I really like this model, and we can really start to see the advantages that this resin has over others. The gray resin does a fantastic job at showing detail. I've printed quite a few different colors of resin. This one's by far the best at showing detail. So on our stores, when I'm taking pictures of these models, or whether it be our Kickstarter or even Thingiverse, sometimes we'll post some makes, taking pictures of these models is fantastic because the gray actually shows the details. So when you print your models and you're wanting to see all the detail, I highly, highly, highly recommend this resin. I haven't found another one that shows detail quite like these ones do. And then next here, we have the head enchantress. You saw her earlier when I put her next to the primed model. This one looks really good, and here's another perfect example of how smooth this resin can print. Once again, you can't see any layer lines on her. It's fantastic. I love it. And now finally, we're going to step up to this big dog here. This is her Chinese dragon, and man, this is an impressive model. And shows off one of my favorite features of this resin, and that's how versatile it is in showing off different textures. So if you look at the dragon and you look at the back of it and its fur, it has a really rough texture, but at the same time, if you look at the crystals that the dragon is wrapped around, those look very smooth. This is one of the only resins that I've seen that can do that very well. Because say I was printing in some sort of like really shiny color, like a shiny yellow or something, the crystals are going to look really good. They're going to look like they're glowing. They're going to be super smooth. But the dragon, probably not as much. The dragon's going to look too smooth, if you know what I mean. So anyway, if you haven't printed with this Anycubic Grey, which if you have an Anycubic Photon, I think you probably would have because I think it comes with some gray. But anyway, this stuff is fantastic, and on Amazon, there's constantly sales for them. I've been picking these things up for, you know, sometimes under 20 bucks a bottle. So, I mean, it's cheap, it looks fantastic. It may not be the brightest, funnest color that you've ever printed with, but as far as like showing detail or anything like that, it's fantastic. And with that, if you guys can think of any other resin that you'd like me to print and like kind of do a little review like this with, let me know. Just put a link in the description. We'll get our hands on some of it and we'll show it to you. But yeah, I hope you liked the video, and until next time.